September 26th, 1983. A single man, a single choice. The fate of billions in his hands alone.
A terror all too real. 5 missiles incoming. The system screams its call. 1 finger on the trigger. 1 man to save us all. The protocol is simple. Report it, launch the strike. But something in his gut said, this doesn't feel right. A ghost inside the radar. A glitch inside the wall. He stood against the tide of fire, knocking at the door. Seconds bleeding into minutes. Every heartbeat shakes the ground. The world above sleeps in silence, never knowing what he found. Savior of the world, no crown upon his head. He held the line alone while generals slept in bed. Savior of the world, his name lost in the grey. He chose to spare the living when death called out his name. The satellites were lying, the system was in fault. A single ray of sunlight had triggered the assault. But Petrov would not tremble, would not follow blind. He traded rank and glory for the future of mankind. They called it insubordination, buried every word. The hero of the bunker, his story left unheard. No medal and no honor, just silence and disgrace. A man erased by empires to protect a nation's face. 20 minutes felt like centuries, heaven balanced on a thread. 1 decision in the darkness chose the living over dead. Savior of the world, no crown upon his head. He held the line alone while generals slept in bed. Savior of the world, his name lost in the grey. He chose to spare the living when death called out his name.
He was not a king. He wore no shining armor. No legend carved in stone, no banner in the wind. But when the world was falling into fire and shadow, 1 ordinary man refused to let it out. Petrov, the name they tried to silence. A ghost that saved the final years in a small and quiet town. No fanfare and no glory, no statue and no crown. The system that he rescued never called him back. Just a line in history, a Stanislav Petrov, 1983. The world does not remember the hands that held it together.